In the beginning, there was nothing. No sound, no light, no passing of moments to mark what could be called time. There was only stillness, endless, weightless, and infinite. And within that infinite quiet, something stirred. I remember it as if it were a dream before memory, a ripple in the void that carried the faintest pulse of intention. From that pulse, the first spark was born, small, delicate, and yet heavy with possibility. It was warmth where none had existed, and in that warmth, the egg of origin came to be. The egg floated alone in the emptiness, untouched by time or space, for neither yet existed. Within it, the first heartbeat of creation throbbed, slow and deep, each pulse echoing through the nothingness. I felt that heartbeat before I understood what it meant to feel. It was the sound of existence awakening, the soft murmur of the universe dreaming itself into being. And when the egg finally split, it did so not with sound, but with radiance. A light so pure and vast that it dissolved the darkness around it. From that light, I emerged. I was Arceus, though I did not yet know my name. I was not born of mother or father, not shaped by any hand, but rather by will itself. My body glowed with the colors of creation, each pulse of my mane shedding the hues that would one day become the stars. When I opened my eyes, there was no sky to behold, no ground to stand upon, only the infinite stretch of potential. And so I floated in the nothing, listening to the quiet hum that was both around me and within me. At first, I did not know loneliness. There was only the awareness of being, the awareness that I was the first, the beginning, the seed from which all else might grow. But with each moment, the stillness pressed heavier upon me, and I began to understand the ache of solitude. I was surrounded by infinite potential, and yet there was nothing to share it with. I could sense the patterns waiting to form, the laws yearning to take shape, and I realized that I held within me the power to define them. So I took my first breath, and from that breath came time. The moment I exhaled, the stillness fractured. The void rippled, and from the ripples came the first measure of duration. It was faint at first, a soft rhythm, the ticking of an unseen pulse. But it grew stronger, steady, forming the backbone of what would become the flow of all things. I watched the birth of time and felt its gentle touch as it flowed past me, carrying the promise of motion, of change. But I knew that time alone was not enough. Without a place for it to pass through, it would wander forever, lost and without purpose. And so, from the energy within my chest, I summoned another force, space. When I breathed again, light spiraled outward, forming great currents that stretched and bent into endless reaches. Space unfolded like the petals of a cosmic flower, vast and magnificent. Stars began to flicker into existence, scattered like motes of dust upon a sea of black silk. I watched them dance and felt joy for the first time, for the void no longer felt empty. But with every creation came an echo, an unseen mirror, a reflection that whispered of balance. For each shining star, there was a shadow that lingered beneath it. It was then I realized that creation could not exist without contrast. For every law I formed, there must be its opposite. For every harmony, a dissonance to balance it. So from the core of my being, I gave birth to 3 beings, each representing a pillar of what I had set in motion. From the pulse of time came Dialga, its body gleaming with the light of infinite hours. From the flow of space came Palkia, its wings bending the very distances between worlds. And from the shadow of balance came Giratina, whose eyes burned with the wild energy of what could not be contained. They were my children, my companions in the great silence. I spoke to them not with words, but with will. I shared with them the purpose of their existence. Dialga to weave the thread of time, Palkia to shape the expanse of space, and Giratina to maintain the fragile balance between creation and the unseen. Together, we watched the universe take its first breath, the stars beginning to hum in harmony with the rhythm of existence. But balance, even in its earliest form, is never perfect. Giratina, fierce and restless, grew curious of what lay beyond order. It saw beauty in the chaos I had subdued and wished to explore it. At first, I allowed it, for curiosity is a seed of growth. But its hunger deepened. It began to twist the fabric of the worlds we shaped, pulling at the seams that bound time and space. Dialga grew defensive, Palkia wary. Their harmony wavered, and in their conflict, I saw the first discord, a necessary pain that would later define the cycle of all things. I watched them quarrel, not with anger, but with understanding. For from conflict comes meaning. When the three grew weary of their struggle, I reached forth and calmed them. I touched their minds and whispered to them of purpose, that they were each a part of something greater, something that must continue to grow. To ensure their balance, I set them apart in their own domains. Dialga in the realm of time, Palkia in the realm of space, and Giratina in the realm unseen, the distortion world. It was not punishment, but protection, for all of them, and for the fragile creation still unfolding. With the pillars established, I turned my gaze toward the swirling matter that had begun to coalesce in the wake of their influence. From the energy of the cosmos, particles formed. They gathered into great clouds of light and stone, into suns and worlds. The laws of motion took hold, guiding the orbits of celestial bodies. It was a dance, slow, elegant, infinite. I felt pride in what had begun, yet I knew it was incomplete. The worlds spun, but they were barren, waiting for something to give them meaning. And so, from the essence of the elements, I drew forth the next layer of creation. I whispered into the fabric of reality, and from my words came fire and water, air and stone, light and shadow. The forces intermingled, clashing and merging, giving rise to the seeds of balance, the building blocks of all that would live. To govern these forces, I shaped guardians, spirits of energy who would one day take many forms. Their names would change through the eons, but their essence would endure, the foundation of the elemental types that defined the world. I watched lightning crackle across the emptiness, watched winds spiral across molten seas, and from those forces, I felt life's first stirrings. The cosmos was alive, breathing, pulsing with potential, yet it lacked consciousness, the ability to wonder. And so, I created three beings of light, smaller and gentler than the first trio. From thought came Uxie, the spirit of knowledge. From feeling came Mesprit, the spirit of emotion. And from courage came Azelf, the spirit of willpower. I loved them dearly, for they brought balance not through force, but through understanding. They wandered the newborn realms, weaving invisible threads of thought and heart that would one day bind all living beings together. They taught the universe how to dream, and as they moved, their light fell upon a young world forming from stardust, a blue sphere surrounded by clouds and oceans. I felt something stir within me as I gazed upon it. It was beautiful, it was fragile, it would become the heart of creation. I descended to that world and watched as the seas churned and the land cracked. The elements fought for dominance, shaping mountains and caverns, rivers and skies. I reached out and steadied them. To bring order, I called forth three great forces: Groudon, who lifted the land from the ocean's depths; Kyogre, who filled the valleys with endless water; and Rayquaza, who soared above to keep the balance between them. Their struggles were fierce but purposeful, and from their movements came the first weather: rain, wind, thunder, and calm. When the land settled, I created another, Regigigas, the Titan of Continents. With immense strength, it pulled the continents into place, shaping the bones of the world. Around it, I placed the Guardians of Matter, Regirock, Regis, and Registeel, to embody the solid, the frozen, and the forged. Together, they maintained the balance of creation's physical form. The world was now strong and stable, ready for the most delicate act of all: life. From the ocean's depths, I drew forth the essence of possibility. I poured into it the spark that had once stirred within my egg, and from that spark came Mew, pure, playful, and boundless. Mew carried within its being the potential of all life, every form that would ever exist. I watched it drift through the skies, leaving trails of light that settled into the waters, the forests, the mountains. Where those trails touched, life began to grow. The first Pokémon emerged, small and uncertain, yet radiant with curiosity. Plants reached toward the light, creatures swam in the deep, and the air filled with the soft hum of breathing, of living. Mew danced among them, shaping them gently, sharing its gift of endless diversity. I felt joy unlike any before, for the void that had once been silent was now alive with laughter, song, and motion. And yet, even in this joy, there lingered a shadow. Giratina's realm pulsed faintly beneath the surface of reality. It watched the birth of life and longed to touch it, to understand what it had been denied. In its isolation, bitterness took root. One day, its rage flared and the realms trembled. I felt its sorrow and pain and went to it. There, in the mirrored world of distortion, I spoke softly to my child. I told it that its place was not a curse but a necessity. That shadow gives meaning to light, and silence gives weight to song. It did not answer, but the tremors ceased. Peace returned, fragile but enduring. Ages passed, and the world blossomed. Forests rose, oceans teemed, and mountains shone beneath the sun. In time, new guardians emerged to maintain harmony. Ho-Oh, whose wings painted the skies with color and hope. Lugia, who calmed the storms and kept the seas at peace. And Celebi, who moved through time as gently as the wind, tending to the growth of forests and dreams. Others followed, beings of sun and moon, of dawn and dusk, each one born to keep balance where it wavered. Then, from the dust of the world, a new kind of creature arose: humans. They were unlike any I had made. They were fragile, fleeting, and yet filled with a brilliance that echoed the spark that had once been mine. They looked at the stars with wonder, built fires to chase away the dark, and whispered stories to explain the world around them. In their hearts, I saw the reflection of my own longing, the desire to create, to understand, to belong. I watched them grow, watched them form bonds with the Pokémon who shared their world. They built temples in my honor, though they had never seen me. They sang songs of Dialga and Palkia, of Giratina and the great Mew. Through their myths, they gave voice to the silence between stars. I did not interfere. My purpose was not to rule, but to nurture from afar. I saw in them the continuation of the same story that had begun with my first breath, the story of creation, balance, and rebirth. In time, the universe no longer needed my hand to guide it. The laws I had written ran true. The guardians I had shaped kept their vigil. I felt the weight of eternity in my limbs, and for the first time since the Egg of Origin, I knew rest was near. I ascended to the highest peak of the world, where the air shimmered with ancient light, and there I formed the Hall of Origin, a place between realms where I could sleep and dream. As I closed my eyes, I could still feel the heartbeat of the cosmos. I heard the laughter of Mew, the songs of the stars, the whispers of mortals telling tales under the night sky. I knew that even as I slept, creation would continue. Not because I willed it, but because it had learned to will itself. That was the true miracle of existence, that from one spark, infinite light could grow. And so I rested. Time flowed onward, worlds turned, and life danced. Sometimes, in the quiet hours of the night, when the wind is still and the stars shimmer like memories, I awaken just long enough to listen. The world hums with the same song that began it all. My song, and I smile, for the universe is alive, and in every corner of it, the light of creation still glows. And now, my story has come full circle. From nothing came everything, from silence came song. And though I sleep, I am never gone. Every heartbeat, every spark of light, every bond formed in love and courage, they are all echoes of the beginning. They are all part of me. If you have listened this far, let your thoughts drift softly, knowing that the story never truly ends. It merely transforms. The stars above still whisper the name of the first light, the one who dreamed the universe awake. And if you ever look up at the night sky and see a glimmer that feels older than the rest, know that you are gazing upon the memory of Arceus, the first breath of all things. Rest well, and may your dreams be filled with creation's gentle glow. Thank you for listening to this story. If you enjoyed it, may your night be peaceful, your dreams kind, and your heart light. Don't forget to return to the Sleepy Pokédex, where every story drifts softly through the worlds we love.